billions in cuts to programs that help fuel the growth and job creation of small businesses. He shipped jobs overseas with his enthusiastic support of NAFTA and for most favored nation trade status for China. He wanted job training programs cut by 20%. And he wanted to eliminate trade adjustment assistance. Now, what is trade adjustment assistance? It's a federal program that provides job training and job search assistance to people who lost their jobs to imported goods and unfair trade practices. So first, Congressman Kasich voted to ship jobs overseas, and then he tried to take away job training from Americans cast out of work by the trade policies he supported. Congressman Kasich, whose side are you on? Congressman Kasich proposed cutting $7 billion from veterans programs. He proposed quadrupling what our veterans would have to pay for prescriptions. He proposed cutting benefits for veterans who suffered head wounds and mental traumas and could no longer care for themselves independently. Now that sounds so awful as to be unbelievable. But check the record. And let me read from the May 15, 1995 committee report on Kasich's budget plan, and I quote, "The plan also calls for limiting compensation for certain incompetent veterans for a savings of $1.326 billion. Close quote. That was his idea. He put his name on it. He's proud of that. Congressman Kasich, whose side are you on? The Appalachian Regional Commission provides vital programs and services to the region, helping create jobs, fight poverty, improve the infrastructure and the lives of Appalachians here in Ohio and stretching across the hills. First, Congressman Kasich sought to freeze funding for the Appalachian Regional Commission, and then 2 years later, he tried to totally eliminate it. He said the people of Appalachia weren't, and I quote, deserving of special federal attention. Congressman Kasich, whose side are you on? So Congressman Kasich, you can go on fighting for Wall Street. I'll fight for Ohio. Yeah. Because there's a difference between Wall Street values and Ohio values. And you can see the difference in Congressman Kasich's budget and in his votes. And you can see it in his one signature proposal as a candidate for governor. A proposal that is every bit as reckless, radical, and wrong as the rest of his record. If elected, Congressman Kasich vows to eliminate the state income tax. Again and again and again, he said the income tax, and I quote, has to be phased out, or quote, must be abolished. He said he's, and I quote, absolutely convinced that it can be done. How would he replace 46% of our state revenue? Revenue that helps pay for schools and universities, first responders and libraries, parks and prisons, and most everything else our state does? Well, apparently he believes in Tooth fairy economics. Believing that somehow, some way, money will come in from some unknown source while he sleeps. Here's what he told a reporter who asked him how you pay for schools and police officers and everything else without 46% of your revenue. He said, and I quote, "We'll explain the math to you when I'm ready to explain the math." He made that statement 514 days ago. Congressman, it's time to put your pencil down. Let's see your answer, and remember to show your work. And while you have your calculator out, Congressman, it's time to tally up how many millions you made on Wall Street. Whoa! For 8 years, you were a managing director of Lehman Brothers, the Wall Street investment bank that cooked its books and turned into the biggest bankruptcy in U.S. history. So release your tax returns, Congressman. Ohioans deserve to know how much that bankrupt company paid you to help pitch doomed investments to Ohio pension funds. Ohioans deserve to know how much money you stand to gain from your own tax proposals. Middle-class Ohioans deserve to know because they will bear the brunt of your anti-income tax crusade with either higher sales and property taxes or a gutting of everything Ohio does for everyone who doesn't have a yacht. When he peddles his anti-tax snake oil, anti-income tax snake oil, Congressman Kasich promises he can make us more like Florida or more like Nevada and other states without an income tax. Because he says, quote, "These are the fastest growing job-creating states." Oh, but it turns out Nevada has the highest unemployment rate in the nation, and Florida has the 5th highest. Ohio, by the way, was among the nation's leading job creators in April and saw more job creation in May. And when the nonpartisan Pew Center reviewed the finances of every state, they issued a report highlighting what they called states in fiscal peril. Nevada was on the list, so was Florida. But Pew ranks Ohio's financial condition ahead of most other states. You know, for a time after we lost our house in that fire, my family lived in our chicken shack. We nailed cardboard to the walls and tried to make do while my father and older brothers worked on converting our barn into a house. My mother cooked dinner in an old smokehouse. We bathed in water trickling down from a hillside pond. I've spoken of that experience many times, not because I want you to feel sorry for the Stricklands. We never felt sorry for ourselves. But because I think it tells you a little bit about how I see the world. Quite frankly, I've never thought that living for a time in a chicken shack qualified me for office. But I'll tell you this, a humble beginning doesn't disqualify me or my neighbors or anyone else